Michael Chute here, and we are stumbling upon the first round of a very long starter pack friendly championship called the Aquila CR1 Championship, featuring the Aquila CR1 that you do see on your screens before you. Sorry if it takes me a while to get going. The technical side has been a little bit troublesome this evening round, but I'm sure you'll be able to see the qualifying for yourself. I'll be in full swing in a few minutes. Thank you for your time. Okay, I've managed to get all my technical problems sorted out, and we are now in full swing, in time for 10 minutes left of qualifying to go for the first round ever of the CR1 Championship. So if you've just joined, my name is Michael Chute, and I'll be commentating for you tonight. And Melvin Brandt's gone round with Purple's first sector. He is not to be underestimated, but he's got to get the consistency under control if he wants to focus on getting a better time than Christian Kubovic, who puts it on pole first with a pace of 209.664. And folks statistically right behind him, 7 tenths back. And then I should also mention that Andy Darnell's in second place, followed by Sebastian Gunther in fourth, Arnold in fifth, and Ricardo Costa in sixth. Please forgive me if these call-outs are a little bit inaccurate and a bit late, because my HUD isn't very but the timing screens on my end aren't exactly very accurate. It says that there's only 2 people on my timing board with lap times, and it shows Christian Kubovic in first, but at least that's accurate. And Photosystically in third, and no one in between. And those are the only 2 people. Those are the only 2 names on my board so far. But there goes Maciej Renian. He's on 2 purple sectors. I think he's going to be able to snatch pole from Christian. Rounding the final corner. And let's see what he's able to pull off. 210, 211, and he's pinned it somewhere. But Renian's put it 6th fastest. But he's got pace on the other 2 sectors, so let's see what he can put together in these coming laps. There's Andy Darnell and Photosystically working together in the 452 car, the blue livery. Oh, that's another 452. There's 3 of them. There's duplicate liveries that have not accounted for that. Okay, this is going to be very confusing for the first few minutes of this while I get my bearings. So I was doing a little bit of looking around, and apparently, like, there's a guy from like typically a GT3 driver, Ribeiro is the second name, and apparently he was able to do like he was able to do a comfortable 208, and he's looking into 207s, but unfortunately I don't see him here tonight, so it might be that he's missing out in the first round, either that or that's another thing wrong with my timing screen, but in any case, I can't really do call-outs on lap times right now because my timing screen's messed up, but I'm sure you can see the proper info on the screen in front of you. It's the way we do it. That you're able to see what you're able to see in your heads-up display is actually clearer than mine. We have a different way of seeing things. So, in any case, as it stands, according to, I'm actually watching the live stream on the side to get the numbers correct. And actually, as Matty Renian puts it on pole, 5/10 ahead of Kubovic, and knew he had it in him. He just needed to put together a final sector, and yeah, he's beating Kubovic with that. So let's see how everyone else reacts. These last 5.5 minutes left to go, and we'll get some proper racing action very shortly. No messing around, no more monkeying about with technology and timing screens. I'll be able to commentate on the stuff in front of me. That's just it with qualifying. You only get to talk about stuff once they cross the line, and it's just numbers, you know? I promise it'll be more exciting when we get into 5 minutes later. Trust. So as it stands, it's Matty Renian, Brand Kubovic, and Sebastian Gunther in first, second, third, and fourth respectively, with Photosystically 5th and Andy Darnell 6th, with Ricardo Costa 7th and Arnold 8th. And Taksonyi in rounding off the final position there. As Polyepry stacks it even closer and moves the goalposts even closer together. It was 4/10ths back from first to second, now it's 3/10ths back with Polyepry versus Kubovic. And they're effectively a tenth apart from second to third, so any improvement from either of them can affect who starts in the second spot in the first row. And at a track like Sepang, that is very important. I cannot emphasize that enough. Like, you have to have that track position in order to advance and secure your future of the race. You have to have all that sorted in time for the first corners. The first set of corners, that hairpin is absolute killer. And that's also why I recommend having a crew chief or the crew chief app, because you'll save your bacon there. Three minutes to go, and I'm afraid you'll have to keep reading out the lap times yourself thus far. Like, I ended up restarting the tool fairly late, so not much of the stuff is accurate past a certain point. Like, past a certain point when I joined, it's normal, but it's not 100% correct, per se. So, in any case, I think it would be worth mentioning the teams coming into these first races. Like, all these teams are comprised of PetrolHead SimRacing drivers. Of course, we've seen collaboration leagues before with ESR, Tugas, BRC, and likewise. And we always had PetrolHead SimRacing drivers competing at these events. But this is a PetrolHead championship now, like solely just us. And there are 5 teams comprised of nothing but petrolheads. So that would be like something weird. Is I'm counting them all as normal petrolhead sim racing teams, but then there's one with a separate icon of like comprised of a Slovakian division of 3 Slovakian drivers, spearheaded by Christian Kubovic. It's called PHSR Slovakia, the dark side. And it's yeah, it's a bit tacky, but you know what? I like it. I like it. The age of innovation. So 60 seconds to go, and there's not much time to go now, and people are going to have to finish their lap, and then they won't have much time for anything else. They won't be able to start and finish a lap, or complete an out lap for that matter. They just have to have time to finish the stuff they've got, and that's it. And that would be the case of Hero Kotochville, 3/10 off the pace. Going to Sorry, I had to leave for a second, and we're back. And time for a little bit of warm-up. So, it is with a lot of regret that I've missed the thrilling conclusion to this qualifying event. And because hang on, I can have a look here. I'm actually looking back at the replay at the live stream itself to have a look at the timing sheets because I missed it. Renian's on pole with 209.1, and Paul Yepri is in second right alongside him. with Christian Kibovic in third and Melvin Brandt fourth. Kiri Kurtochvil stick at fifth on that final lap, and Sebastian Gunther stays sixth, with Fotis Isoglu eighth and Andy Darnell 9. And Leandro Arnold in 10th and Ricardo Costa 11th, with Dominic Taxonier and 12th with Tonio Phantom in P13. So that's it for the qualifying grid. That's the 13 people who set lap times out of 15 people on the grid. So that leaves 30 seconds now for warm-up, and I can't wait to see the thrilling opening to this brilliant racing series here at Sepang this evening, on this Monday evening. And also, before I forget, happy St. Patrick's Day to those to whom it may concern. And we are lining up on the grid as people are having a final checkup on their setup and checking to see how much fuel they need for the race to make sure they don't run out. This is going to be a 15-minute sprint race. And these Aquilas they include TC and ABS normally, but they are without it tonight. So this is going to really separate the pros from the noobs here tonight. And really see who doesn't need no ABS or no TC to go quick around these tracks with these cars. We haven't quite started yet. Alright, there we go. The lights are going to be ahead of the drivers very shortly. Flicking on. 2 lights, and we're about to go green right now. Cars are scrambling for the precisions, and Matti Renian gets the better start ahead of Polly Apri as everyone else goes 4 wide across the front stretch, going into turn 1, and that's the number 8 of Christian Kibovic getting a fire start from the midfield on the inside. It's going to be the outside line going into this next hairpin corner as Polly Apri gets the best of him there, but that's a spinner from Kiri Kurtochvil, unfortunately. He got junked by the midfield as everyone tripped over him. It's a very tight corner, and it's what I'd fear would happen at such a tight track. It's happened at many series before. It happened to me, actually, a lot of times. But unfortunately, here he is going to be the victim this time around. Leandro Arnold also got caught up in that, unfortunately. Well, let's have a look back at the front of the pack with Melvin Brandt. In 4th place, there's a 4-car train as Melvin Brandt tries to get past Christian Kibovic. Kibovic in the number 8 yellow car is very easy to see as he got the best start on the grid, I believe. Managed to hold himself off really, really well. He's got himself a neat little position here at these starting stages of this race, but our actual best starter is Tonio Phantom up in 9th. He was up in P13 and he managed to get up to 9th thus far. So he's got 13 more minutes to get some more positions under his belt. But let's keep an eye on the front as Christian Kibovic is looking for the slipstream to get past Polly Apri in 2nd and advance his position. And then there's Brandt behind him and Andy Darnell behind him, all looking for a piece of the pie. And then there's Matti Renian having a front seat show in his rearview mirror, just looking at all the cars trying to slipstream jockey for position as Fotis Isoglu loses out to Tonio Phantom on the inside line. So Poliepri is going into lap 2 now ahead of Christian Kubovic, although things remain extremely close between him and Kubovic. There's also Melvin Brandt raring to get into the mix. 12 minutes to go, and Andy Darnell hanging back, watching it all unfold in front of him, waiting to pick up any positions if anything scrambles ahead of him. And that's another spinner, unfortunately. We've got Wacko Coles in P15 at the back, unfortunately. He's managed not having a very good day at this track. It's a challenging first turn. But here comes Andy Darnell now in 5th. Just trying to put in that patented consistency he's always prided himself on, to try catch Melvin Brandt and advance his position to get an early head start in this championship. So we're seeing a lot of familiar faces that were familiar with the front. Going relatively midfield, we see GC3 style. Oh, there goes Fotis Istiglu. Unfortunately, he got the worst exit there, and Ricardo Costa gets him. And now he has to try fight against Tonio Phantom and get that under control. And that's Matti Renian having a look. And he's lost the lead. Poliepri's taken the lead, and he's had a very bad exit there, it seems. And Christian Kubovic takes 2nd as a result. Poliepri in the lead with Renian 3rd, and Melvin Brandt in 4th. Just wasn't quite close enough to try and make a move when it counted, and they're all snaking left and right across the track to try and break that toe. Poliepri's trying everything, but not stopping. They're getting closer. He's going to have to try and take a defensive line. Unless Christian Kubovic can make it work on the braking on the inside line. Now it's on the outside. Poliepri's on the inside of this next corner. It's flipped on its head, and Christian Kubovic has not gotten the best of him, or has he? Renian has gone off into the first section of the track, and that is Yepri versus Kubovic now, with Melvin Brandt remaining as a contender now, as he's gotten closer, as everyone else has tripped over each other. Melvin Brandt's looking to get a podium position here. He wants to get a piece of the pie, and Andy Darnell is fitting the position of Melvin Brandt now. He's the one looking to sweep up any mistake after the front. And that's Thierry Courtageville, unfortunately, again. Not having a very good time with these cars without TC. Normally these cars have an electronic traction control system to make these easier to drive, but to make it the competition more interesting, we decided to take those assists away from the drivers, and it's interesting to see how they're faring without them. And that's Melvin Brandt gone off. He's managed to, and that's Kubovic as well. There's chaos at the front. No, it's not. That's Taxonyi. There's also duplicate liveries, unfortunately. It's hard to call out names when they're all the same color, you know. But Taxonyi in P11 has gone round in the fight in the back midfield. Unfortunately, he has got a mountain to climb with these last 8.5 minutes, with Wacko Coles also getting another spin in, unfortunately. Not having a good day at all. A day forget for the American driver, and he's DNF'd, unfortunately. His day is done for now. But Christian Kubovic is making good time, and Poliepri has now become a 2-horse race. Once 4, once 3, and now 2, as they charge on, trying to race against each other for the lead. Here tonight to Sepang, 8 minutes to go, and it's the beginning of lap 4. One sector in, and Kubovic is just under half a second behind Poliepri. I'm sure we'll see a move from them soon enough involving the slipstream. Like, these cars in particular are very slipstream sensitive. with their aerodynamic prowess. Well, let's not forget about Photosystiglu down on P7 at the minute. He's lost a few positions, now he's scrapping with Melvin Brandt, who may or may not have damage. I'm not sure about what his condition is. But having a look at Andy Darnell now in third. He's 2 seconds back almost from the leader, but he's putting in the consistency that if something does happen, he'll be close enough to take advantage. Then there's Sebastian Gunther in the same spot down in fourth, and then Will McCone advanced to fifth. Well, while Melvin Brandt fell back, unfortunately. After that one accident, that was enough to set him off. And also, it's a very big calamity for Mashi Renian. He had the pace to win this race here tonight, but now he's all the way back, locked away into the midfield. And now he's scrapping for the last points available as he can. So we're on lap 5 now, and Christian has not moved an inch away from Polyapparate. Still hasn't gotten the move done just yet. Not quite enough grip to try and get ambitious. Well, he's not moving away either. They're just sticking with him. They're very matched on pace. Number 8, Christian Kubovic, versus the 222 up in front of Polyapparate. Then I should remind you that Andy Darnell is in third, Sebastian Gunther fourth, with Will McCone fifth and Melvin Brandt sixth, Photosystiglu seventh, Matty Renian eighth, Ricardo Costa ninth, and Gabriele Tabux rounds off the top 10. With our highest climber of this evening being Andy Darnell with 5 positions. Down in third, he's doing very well for himself. Bit of a touch there from Christian Kubovic, playing a bit rough. So he is, with a bit of a bump draft in the corner entry. He's making himself known to Polyapparate that he's got the speed, and if he isn't careful, he's gonna try and make an attack. Christian's got himself incredibly dialed in this time round. As Polyapparate moves across the track to try break this toe, he takes a defensive line. Christian has to go on the outside. Now it's breaking. And now Christian's on the better line with a switchback. And look at him go, streaking into the lead from Polyapparate. Nicely done, Christian. But now he's got to watch out because Polyapparate is going to look into fighting back now. As Christian doesn't defend nearly as hard as Polyapparate does, and now he's going to pay the price as contact going into the first corner. It's a bit of a wheel bang as Polyapparate comes back into the lead, but I'm not sure if that was entirely Paul's fault. But who am I to argue? Rubbing's racing, that's my opinion anyway. But if Christian Kubovic can do this once, he can certainly do it twice. We're running into Sector 2 now of this racetrack. Something I should mention about these Aquilas is that these are essentially mini prototypes, not quite LMP3 levels of downforce, but if there was... think of it as an LMP4. If you could even call it that, or like a tiny little sports car. They're not quite powerful, but they have a lot of grip for their size, and that's Tonio Phantom, unfortunately. He was high midfield, and he's had a few accidents, unfortunately, as Hiri Kutachvili is coming up behind him 4/10 back. But something important to mention is that Hiri does have damage. So Kibovic is going to keep trying going to the start-finish straight. But for now, let's have a look at Will McCone versus Melvin Brandt, as Brandt is trying to scramble his way back up the order. But Will McCone wants to get ahead of him. He wants to try stop him. Whereas Christian and Polyepri side by side, they bang wheels again and again. And the Epri just keeps turning on him. What's with the measuring competition? It's definitely gonna have to have a look at that. It's not acceptable. Definitely knew he was there. But that's where it stops, unfortunately. Like, that's where it just becomes malicious, unfortunately. I don't agree with that. What Paul was doing there. But the more they trip over each other like this, the closer that Andy Darnell's getting to them. "60 seconds left on the clock, and I believe this is going to be close to being the last lap of the race." Getting very close to the end here. The Polyepri now he has the one with the toe, and Christian Kibovic is now not unarmed with any kind of slipstream from any car in front of him. He has to defend this position himself now against a particularly unhappy Polyepri, regardless of who's been hitting who during this last stint. But I believe this will be the last lap. So it's now or never for Polyepri, but he needs to get this move done very quickly and outbrake him by a significant margin. And Christian Kibovic has gotten the better exit, and now he leads, coming in and home to win the first round of this championship. Followed by Polyepri in second, and a well-fought Andy Darnell in third, with Sebastian Günther fourth, Melvin Brandt fifth, and Fotis Swissiglu sixth, with Mil McCone seventh. As Gabriele Tapux goes sideways across the line and hits in 11th. I'm getting ahead of myself. Ricardo Costas in 9th. And Taksoni in 10th. Gabriele Tapux in 11th. Leandro Arnold in 12th. And Tonio Phantom finishes 13th. One stalwart at the midfield. And Hiro Kutachville loses 9 positions, starting from P5, now in P14 at the back. And that is all our finishers for tonight. Or for this round, anyway. So there you have it. Race winner is going to be belonging to Christian Kibovic, but let's not remember. Let us remember the pace that Renian was showing all race, because he had shown a 2:08.87 as the fastest lap when he got caught up in a kerfuffle. But that was only race 1, folks, because there's going to be a second round in this championship per day, and we're about to look onto a second race here tonight after a bit of intermission gets underway. Well, that was fairly hands-on between the first and second finishers, Christian Kibovic versus Polyepri. Might need a little bit of a look. I'm not sure if either driver would have seen that as a bit of a dodgy move, or if they see all it fair. But yeah, that could be something we can have a touch on in the post-race interviews later on. I'm very interested to hear that. But I wouldn't have tolerated that if I would have lost my head there if I was driving in one of their positions. And now we're in for a little bit of intermission as everyone calms down and tries to reset their zen and confidence for the second round of today's race. So one more thing to mention for when we get back racing, as there's a top 6 reverse grid. So the reverse grid's going to flip the finishing order upside down, and we'll see. We'll give other drivers a chance, like a little bit further down the midfield, to see if they can have what it takes to win if they have the track position to do so. But they need to be careful going into turn 1 and 2, because that is very dangerous at Sepang, and we already saw what happened to here at Quattrochaville, Waco Coles, and many others. So nothing is set in stone ever at Sepang. Better keep yourself on your toes. And also shout out to Andy Darnell for supplying me with tidbits of information I wasn't able to... For the information I wasn't able to acquire prior to the beginning of this race. Absolute hard carry. And also something else I definitely knew 5 seconds ago was that Protus, thanks to the reverse grid, I believe he might be on pole, but that might be just my terrible maths striking again. I'm an English person, or not that I'm English, I'm actually Irish, but I'm a language guy. So if that's incorrect, don't be surprised. So not long to go now to the end of this warm-up, and we are about to go back racing here tonight. Okay, we are very nearly under green once again. And it's going to be a little bit longer tonight in the second race, because it's now going to be double the length of the last race. So now 2 times 15 is 30, and 30 minutes is going to be on a half an hour feature race featuring a reverse grid. So I can't wait to see how this begins and see how this turns out. And hopefully these drivers have the peace of mind knowing they have half an hour to work out their positions, and the race isn't fully set in stone. Alright, so Photosystically is on pole, followed by Melvin Brandt, given a second shot at this podium. And Anthony Darnell starting in third, with Polyepary fourth. And let's see who gets the better start here tonight, as Andy Darnell streaks ahead and Melvin Brandt in second, trying to cover him off, but there's Photosystically covering him off in the 453 up in front, as Melvin Brandt goes through to take the lead. And there is for Polyepary banging wheels of Photosystically in the close quarters action of turn 1, and Photos is getting inside there and covering him off. That is second place for Photosystically. That is third for Photosystically, as Andy Darnell goes in ahead. It's 3 wide going into the end of the first sector. It's Will McCone, Iepri and Kubovic. Someone's got to pull out. That's not going to work. Very big scrambling action going on as Christian Kubovic makes his way in. Almost forced off the track, but he was having none of it. Andy Darnell in second has made some very, very good start for himself. He's gotten up 2 positions, and Melvin Brandt's taken the lead of this race, with Photosysically losing out in third, losing 2 positions, but there's Will McCone in fourth. And that contrasting sky blue and orange car in fourth place right now, the 223. He's gained 3 positions, and he's going to plan to make it 4 when he tries to challenge for the podium position that Photosysically's gone and commandeered. So behind him is Christian Kubovic in 5th, and unfortunately Wacko Coles has spun off again. And Sebastian Gunther is DNF'd as well. I didn't realise that. I don't know what happened to him, unfortunately, but he's DNF'd. He's not knocked out before the first round of the race has even ended. So that's very, very big. Rest in peace for Sebastian Gunther, unfortunately. Very big scatter in the midfield there, with Leandro Arnold taking the fight to Hiri Kurtajville at the back. As Photosysically and Andy Darnell fight in front, Leandro Arnold is fighting Hiri Kurtajville for the position at the back of the pack. But then there's Christian Kubovic willing to make it 2 trophies in one day, down in 5th. He definitely has the pace, but he needs to try catch Will McCone, and he needs to watch out for Polyapri if he gets close once again. So we are roughly 2 laps in to a half-an-hour race, but unfortunately we've already got 1 DNF. That's something I'll have to ask Seb later on. Christian going wide slightly, he'll be getting a few incident points for that one, but not sure if it's quite worth a slowdown penalty awarded in game. I think he's clean for now, and it gets closer, ever so closer to Will McCone. He's going to have to watch himself though, because if he tries to beat and bang with the way he was with Paul, the same way with Will McCone, Will won't have any of it, I tell you. As I can speak from experience watching him, and he lets him through. Will McCone sees no interest in putting up a fight with this Christian Kubovic. He wants to let this play out for the next 25 minutes and try work with them to catch the cars in front. Maybe a little bump drafting action, who knows. As Photosysically is working with Andy Darnell to try catch the leader, Melvin Brandt, who is ever so slightly streaked out in front with a very gentle 2 seconds. And that is Maciej Renian once again, unfortunately. Gabriele Tapux is in it. And that is 2 cars taken out in 1 collision, unfortunately. They're still running, but they're at the back of the grid now. They have a monumental mountain to climb for the rest of these 25 minutes left to go. This race beginning lap 3. But I'd heavily, if I were Andy Darnell and Photosysically, or even the 4th and 5th in the form of Christian Kubovic and Will McCone, I'd try to... That's Gabriele Tapux doing a bit of a burnout in the grass there. He's lost control. Definitely not a good day for the Italian driver. But anyway, what I was saying, like if I was in one of these 2-car trains, I would definitely encourage trying to work together and bump drafting on the straights as much as I can. But Kubovic seems to be getting away from Will McCone now, as he had the move done, but now he's having a look at 3rd place in the form of Photosysically. He's going to be trying to get himself in a position for some more hardware, the double trophy here tonight at Sepang. And here Kratachville's gone round in the midfield. Antonio Phantom passes it as 1, 2, 3 positions he's lost, unfortunately, to that spin. But it's not over just yet. He can still fight back from this if he puts his head down and focuses. And we're back to the straights. Now it's a bit of time for strategy. Does he pass or does he work with the cars to catch the cars in front? And as a result, make this a multi-car battle for a single position. This is Christian's decision to make now. Does he try and pass Fotis with the slipstream? That's Rocco Coles once again in the grass, unfortunately. Not having a very good day at all, these cars. But that's Christian's decision to decide. He's trying to make a move happen. Squeezes inside of Fotis Istiglu. That's very aggressive there. But the door was open. He managed to spin inside. But I don't know what to make of that. Fotis ended up defending from that in the end, but that definitely wasn't healthy for either car, as they both lost time to Andy Darnell in second, and the cars behind them in the form of Will McCone and Polyepri are getting closer to them, so this is the time where I'd start to try work together. Try put aside our differences and try get away from the chasing cars. Will McCone's back end slipstream range, very strong toe. He's going to be getting now a very, very big top speed boost. And side by side he is now, as Christian Kubovic gets a bad exit, but he's on the inside line, and that's Gabriele Tapuk's gone off now. No, that's Melvin Brandt up in front. He's lost the position. He's lost the lead to Andy Darnell, and he's overcooked it. That's very unfortunate for Melvin Brandt, but he's nowhere near as far down in the order that he was last time. He can still make something of this in 20 minutes' time. He definitely has the pace. Over 2 seconds that was the gap between himself and Andy Darnell at the time. So let's hope he can get past Christian Kubovic without a hitch and get back in the fight for this win. With 20 minutes left to go. And that's Polyepri taking the position of Will McCone as they tried to decide on a strategy on how to overtake the cars in front. Christian's going for it. He's on the right-hand side, our right-hand side, and there's a little bit more contact now with Christian. Between himself and Melvin and Fotis Istiglu. So I think he's creating a lot of enemies in this race. And the races to come. By doing this, he's going to have to take this into consideration. He's making himself a villain out of himself. Here comes Melvin Brandt now. Less than a tenth separate them. They're bumper to bumper. Antonio Phantom is off, going into the entry of Sector 1, Sector 2. But he's at the back, so fortunately, no one's ever going to be held up, and no one's going to collect him and damage their car off him. But unfortunately, that marks the second DNF of the session. Wackle Cole's also DNFs from the session. It's just not his day. He'll be back stronger in the next one, I imagine. So Melvin's just trying to keep it consistent now, but Yepri's hot on his back. He has to find a way past Christian Kubovic ahead of him. If I were Yepri, I'd be working with Melvin right now to try get across on the straight, because as long as he gets help from someone, like the move is definitely on, with a little bit of bump draft and magic. But let's not forget about Andy Darnell, who streaked off into the lead ahead of Photosysiclu in second. And that's Christian Kimovic has gone off, and Melvin Brandt has hit him. It's going to be a little bit of aero damage for Melvin Brandt. Christian Kimovic is losing a lot of positions. Here comes Matti Rainian. And everyone else in the midfield is going to be swallowed up in a second if he doesn't do something. And that's Polyepri back into third place in the mood for some hardware. And that's Melvin gone off and spun off into the car, and they get collected by Will McCone. I'm not sure whether or not that was damage for Will McCone, but that has certainly been a lot of banging and bashing here tonight. Not at all intentional, I'm sure of it. But this has turned the complexion of this race on its head, so now Andy Darnell is challenging for the race win here tonight, himself versus Photosysiclu. And then Polyepri in third has landed on his lap, and then Will McCone following him home for a good team finish in this championship in the feature race. Good points for the beginning of this championship, and that's another spinner in the form of Taxonyi, and that, oh god, that is Hiri Kurtajville collecting him, not obeying the yellow flag, and paid the price massively. A lot of cars involved in that. And that's Hiri banging his way past Taxoni. Taxoni is definitely going to have a lot of damage off that. Them and Hiri. There's not going to be a single undamaged foe by the end of that. But as I was saying, that the complexion of this race has evolved. Coming to half-time here now. So Andy Darnell's leading 1.2 from Photos, with Polyepri 2 seconds off. So essentially the same gaps from the top three. From car to car, it's going to be the same amount of slipstream intervention from these guys. This Hiri Kurtajville is trying to get back Taxonyi once again. But man, what a shunt. That's why you should always obey the yellow flags and keep an eye out, just be aware. Because someone has clearly wrecked, and you can join them if you're not careful. Antonio Phantom gets the better of Dominic Taxonyi, and it is evidence that Taxonyi has damage. Like, severe damage, unfortunately. But that was no shy shunt. But he's still going, and that's what matters. He wants to bring home a finish for the team. So here we are now. Melvin Brandt versus Ricardo Costa in the battle for P6. Going to be using that slipstream a lot. It's going to be a tool that a lot of drivers are utilizing during this race, as Melvin Brandt takes that position with ease. Ricardo has no intention of fighting for that position. He doesn't want to lose time to the cars behind. It's a good mind to be in here for, with still a fair bit of time to go in this race. So Ricardo now has to defend from Matti Renian. And I should mention that Melvin Brandt has the fastest lap so far in this race. Melvin is set at 209.8, and the pace of everyone else around him is like a low to mid 2-minute 10s. So we're not quite as quick as we were in qualifying, but we're getting mighty consistent. Serenian got past Costa there in that last move, and now he's going to be setting his sights on Melvin Brandt. And if I was Renian, like that was Melvin Brandt is someone clearly as fast as Renian, so if he can catch up to them, they can work together and try work out their way up the pack using the slipstream of each other. To try to take on what's left at the top of the field. Someone spun off. That's Photosystiglu spinning off in front of the hairpin on the start-finish straight. People are going to have to avoid him, but that blows the podium positions now wide open, as Will McCone and Polly Epere are now streaked up into second and third, with Kubovic fourth now. As Photos gets up going again in P8. And Andy Darnell is just about happy as anyone, as his competition is dropping like flies, and no one is here to oppose him just yet. And if he maintains his consistency that he is absolutely dominated with for the past, well, 20 minutes, and stays for another 10, then a race win might be on the cards for Andy Darnell to end the first race of the season, the first feature race of the season on a high. That's a while away yet. 10 minutes to go. And it appears that everyone else has gone single file, but Polly Epere is trying to cling on to some kind of tow from Will McCone, so that if they're hoping to high hill that Andy Darnell makes a mistake, and Epere wants to be close enough to capitalize when that happens. And that's what he's using Will McCone for, but Will is getting further and further away. He's too quick for Polly Epere as he streaks off into the distance at this stage in the race. So Ricardo Costa is also having a look at Photosystiglu now, trying to advance his position. Ricardo has definitely cemented himself as a respectable midfield runner in this championship, or at least at this car combination. It's definitely shaken up the order a bit, because we saw like GT3 stalwarts like Will McCone and Sebastian Gunther, and they're not doing well, at least in the first race, like they were stuck in the midfield. They can't qualify are above the midfield. And that's the beauty of some of these starter pack, some of these free cars, that people often overlook, because it can bring out some of the closest competition. That is Ricardo Costa at the end of turn 2 and turn 3. So Ricardo can forget about that position now. He needs to focus on defending from Pierre Crotachville down in 9th. He needs to get back up and running again as fast as he can. 9 minutes to go, and we are smack bang in the middle of lap 10. So here is getting very, very close now to P8 now in the form of Ricardo Costa. He's going to be trying to make a move very shortly to try and make something and redeem something out of this race, and that is Ricardo Costa slowly cooking in the confines of Sepang. As his mistakes start to creep in for almost everyone now. They've been at it for 22 minutes now, and they've got 8 to go. Like, these won't be the fastest cars you see on this game, but if you drive anything for around half an hour, you start to feel the heat if you're not used to it. If you're typically a sprint driver. And unfortunately, Photosystically is also starting to feel the pressure now down in 7th, as Hirikutachville starting to close in on him. He's going to have the severe overspeed, and I don't think Photos can do anything to stop it at that rate. Managed to get it up to speed in time, though, to try to hold him off in time for the next turns. Turns 1, 2, and 3 is the snaking hairpin corner. But Ricardo is sticking with Hirikutachville at the beginning of their lap 11. And Andy Darnell is still in the lead ever since Belvin Brandt and Photosystically dropped the ball. Andy Darnell's been more than happy to receive it, and he's been holding it for the past 20 minutes now, I suppose. But the thing is, the gap that used to be 2.5 seconds is now 1.8 seconds between him and fellow Brit Will McCone. So it's time to see if he can keep it together for 6.5 more minutes and keep this win to try to bring home points for his division of PetrolHead SimRacing. And apart from that, we've more or less singled out, and everyone's on a little bit of a binge of consistency now, trying to focus on their hot laps, and just whatever they do, trying not to spin, because that would be a nightmare at this stage of the race. So going across the start-finish straight now, Andy Darnell leads Will McCone from Polyapri in 3rd, and Christian Kubovic in 4th, as his teammate... no, not his teammate, but there's the same livery, actually. That's quite confusing, because... Melvin Brandt's in 5th, with Matty Rennie in 6th, Photosystically 7th, and Hirikutachville 8th. Ricardo Costa's in 9th, and Arnold rounds off the top 10. But something I should mention is that some people are running the same livery to indicate that they're on the same team, and some aren't. And, yeah, it makes things very confusing, unfortunately. The joys of watching pretend cars go around in circles, that's what you have to put up with sometimes. 5 minutes to go, and the gap between Andy Darnell and Will McCone is getting smaller by the lap. It so appears it's now under a second. And Polyapri is also long gone. He's 2 seconds behind his teammate. And Kubovic is trying to get closer to Polyapri to try to take away that final podium spot. And Photosysticlu's outbroke himself, unfortunately. Kiri Kotochville goes through. It's like P7 in this race with 4 minutes to go. So Christian is getting very close now to Polyepary. He's going to be in a position to fight once again. The two titans that dominated race 1 are now finding themselves toe-to-toe once again. Switching side to side is the switcheroo from Christian Kubovich going in front to take 3rd place from Polyepary. To which Polyepary has no answer. And this is exactly what Christian, the most that Christian can hope for now is just to hold him off. Polyepary, just for 3 more minutes, that's all he needs, 3 more minutes, and he's brought home the hardware in terms of the bronze trophy. All is sticking with them. Very impressive pace from the Romanian driver. So now it's the tensions start to settle in now. A sense of urgency as these 2 minutes to go are coming to a very, very close close. As Will McCone is also getting closer to Andy Darnell with 2 minutes to go. And I believe this is going to be, there's going to be time for one more lap, I believe. And Andy Darnell needs to focus on keeping Will McCone at bay, and Christian Kubovich needs to focus on keeping Polyepary at bay to keep their positions and lock him in for championship points. There's a trio of 2-car battles going on for 1st and 2nd, 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th respectively. And this is going to be their last chance to try and make any advancement of their position. It's on now. The heat is definitely starting to burn each driver to whom it may concern. As Tonio Phantom does a rather impressive Scandi flick on the backstretch. But I digress. Looking back to the front stretch, beginning their final lap, Will McCone is 1 second away from Andy Darnell, who's led the majority of this race, and he is closer than he has ever been before to taking the lead himself. He needs to push now or never. But I have a feeling that Andy Darnell is going to be able to hold on to take his victory at the first ever feature race. Will's getting the better of him on the brakes, it appears, and if Will McCone goes off onto the grass, this starting to cook as well. The mistakes are starting to creep in for Will McCone, and this is going to be very, very happy news for Andy Darnell, who's trying to hold him off desperately. 3, 2, 1, double knot on the clock, and this is going to be the final lap of the race. It's now or never for Andy Darnell, Will McCone, and Christian Kubovich to try and advance their position or hold it. Coming down the back stretch now. And that's the final corner to go. As Andy Darnell comes out and gets the better exit from Will McCone and wins the first feature race of the Aquila Championship. As Will McCone, absolutely frustrated with himself. He needs one more lap, he says. One more lap. and that first place could have been his, but unfortunately he made the mistakes when it counted. And that is Andy Darnell emerging victorious in an absolute feat of endurance and feat of consistency. That's what we know him for, folks. This is Andy Darnell. And it would be a crime to not ignore Christian Kubovic in third and Will McCone in second, with Polly Eppery fourth and Melvin Brandt fifth. He once was leading this race, but then spun out, unfortunately, and lost the top of the pack, but went and headed fifth for a very respectable fifth place finish, with Renian in sixth, Hero Touchville seventh, Kotas Isaglu eighth. Unfortunately, not a very good day for him in terms of maintaining his position. But then there's Ricardo Costa 9th, with Arnold in 10th, Antonio Phantom in 11th, and Gabriele Tapux 12th, with Taksonyi in 13th, Waco Coles in 14th DNF, and Sebastian Gunther 15th DNF. And the fastest lap is the 2:09.1 set by Christian Kubovic in the heat to try hold Polly Eppery at bay, and he did so successfully. Very well done to the drivers here tonight, and don't go anywhere because I am about to try and get a hold of a few people for some post-race interviews and see what their particular opinions are. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce the first driver I'd like to interview, Melvin Brandt.
Hello, Michael.
Hello there, Melvin. Bit unlucky there in the second race. You're leading at one point. What happened?
I spun out of one hairpin and just lost it and tried to get on to the track safe. Lost 4 position, I think. Then did another mistake. And yeah, tried to just get through everyone and got up to 5th by the end, I think.
Yeah, you finished 5th. That was a very good finish for... that was a very excellent recovery.
Yeah. Same in the first race as well. I tagged Christian a little bit and spun out and tried to just move up the order and do the best I could.
Yeah, this, with the majority of these races here tonight for you were a very good recovery drive, and that is very respectable. You did very well tonight, and you kept your cool for the most part. So,
Yeah.
you had a very eventful race, I'd imagine. So, congratulations for finishing where you did. So, is there anything else you'd like to mention to the crowd that you'd like to talk about, or would you like to sign out?
I want to thank you for the commentating again, and it was a great race for Andy as well, with the win in the second race. I don't know where he finished in first, but I think he was in the podium as well. So that's a great start for the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, look at Melvin. You definitely have the pace to do something great here in this series. So, I can do nothing but wish you the best of luck for next week. I definitely believe you can do something great.
Yeah, I just need to practice and try to stay consistent.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Melvin. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
So that was Melvin Brandt. He had to fight a lot of his race in the midfield from the top because of a few unfortunate mistakes, but he recovered very well. So next up, I'd love to congratulate our race winner in the feature race in race 2, Andy Darnell.
Hello, Michael.
You showed an incredible feat of consistency and determination and grit in that feature race. Tell me what was going through your head when, how does it feel to win the first feature race of the Aquila Championship?
Certainly unexpected. I was half a second off the pace of the quick guys, but like you say, I guess consistency paid off. I was listening to your commentary, and I think you're a little bit confused about the liveries and the teams, because Melvin and Fotis are both teammates, the same livery as me. But yeah, we've done. I think as a team, I think we've done very well.
Yeah, certainly. The liveries certainly make it a little bit. Yeah,
We can't make it simple for you. We're all in blue, and the other guys are all in yellow. You know. But no, it was a good race. I was very surprised to win that one.
Yeah, definitely. Like you definitely deserved that win. So
Yeah, if there was a few more laps, I think Will would have caught me. If not, even Kubovic, he was coming up rather quickly. But no, thanks for the commentary as always, and thank you to everybody that turned up. Wunderbar.
all right, thank you so much for your time, Andy. So that was Andy.
I want to thank you to Fotis as well, because he was the one that made the gap for me in the first place, I think. My teammate. Thank you.
All right, well, we'll have to see what he says about that. Fotis, do you have anything to add on to that?
I did my best. I didn't. I just try to follow him and don't attack him and engage a battle because we would lose time. But yeah, I try my best. But yeah.
Yeah, certainly. That's like you definitely made a lot of mistakes. Like I'm guessing the pressure got to you.
Sorry.
I'm guessing the pressure got to you in the second race. You definitely.
I didn't have pressure. I just did a silly mistake because the guy behind me was 1.5 seconds behind me. So I have space, but I did a silly mistake.
So in the first race, tell us what's the story with I think you're one of the. I might be wrong, but I think you were one of the victims of the first race at turn 1.
Yeah. Did Andy finish his interview?
I don't know. I might be wrong. Like I can't quite recall, but there was a lot of people who died.
Yeah, one car spun in front of me. It was vertically on track. Didn't have any space to go and just lost a lot of time until the track clear in front of me and eventually go off and continue the race. But yeah, these things happen. It's okay.
Okay, you definitely, but like a lot of this drive of these races were a recovery drive for you, and you definitely tried to. You definitely tried your best. You've definitely have the pace to go do something great in the next round. So, like, good luck for that.
Thank you.
So, would you like to say anything else to the stream, or would you like to sign off?
For me, it was exciting races, both of them. I hope everyone enjoyed, and the people that watched on stream, I hope they enjoyed too. And congratulations to all the drivers, congratulations to the podium winners, and hope to see you the next round. Thank you also you that took your time and commentate. Thank you for your effort.
All right, thanks, Fotis, for your time.
You're welcome.
And that was Fotis Isiglu. Next up, someone a little bit less unfortunate, Hiro Kutachville.
Well, I think I don't know if like someone like took me out in turn 2 race 1, or I just found myself out, or I don't know really. And I had other few collisions which I don't want to mention here. Simply, it wasn't a great day for me.
Yeah, it wasn't the best day for you. It's definitely a day to forget. What's your confidence going into the next round? Do you think you can turn this around?
Well, I need to work on car stability. That's it. Sometimes I lose the rear end.
Yeah, you don't really seem to be very comfortable with the car just yet, and I think a little bit of scheduling, a little bit of testing might do you a little bit of good. So, in any case, are you feeling confident for the next round?
Oh wait, what is the next round? I don't know. I don't know what is the next race exactly, but
The next race is going to be at Portimao.
oh, that will be good, I think.
All right, so hopefully things will turn around for you there. So good luck until then.
Yeah, thank you.
So, is there anything else you'd like to mention to the stream or would like to sign off?
Well, that's all I think.
All right, Harry, thank you so much for your time and good luck for the next race.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and then now next up we have someone who's very who was fighting for the win in race 1 and fighting for the podium in race 2 alongside Christian Kibovic. It's the second man, Polly Eppery.
Hi there, Michael.
Hey there, Paul. So that was a thrilling conclusion to towards the end of these races. You were fighting non-stop with Christian in the first race, and you guys found each other again in the closing stages of the second race. So tell us about that. I think there's a lot that went on that I think you can explain better than I can.
Well, it was an awesome race. I had a great fight with Kubo in the first race. I think it was fair. I heard you in the commentary that you said that we have some moves there, but in my opinion, it was a fair racing. Kubo did touch me in the back a few times. I did touch him also a few times. So Robinson is racing, as a wise man once said. Unfortunately, in the second race, I don't know. I lacked a lot of pace by the end of the race. Maybe because I locked the brakes too much and I had square tires, or I don't know what happened there. But one lap I found myself doing 9.5, and the other lap I was doing 10.5. So I don't know what happened there. But in the end, it was a nice race. It's a shame I couldn't fight Kubo for the last lap of the race. He sold me a dummy there, and I took it. It was a very wise move from him. I didn't expect that, and I have to congratulate him for that move and for his race also.
Yeah, it was very well executed.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. He did. I expect him to go wide after that move and try a switch back, but he managed to keep it to the apex, block the line, and yeah, it was a spot on move, like a textbook move.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
So, Paul, that was an absolutely thrilling conclusion to this race, these two races. Was there anything else you'd like to add for the crowd at home, or would you like to sign off and have a great evening?
I just want to congratulate Andy. He did a really great job. He was a little bit off pace. I was catching him one lap and maybe two laps, but as always, I was making a mistake and I had to take it all over again. But in the end, he's consistently paid off, and mm, turns out that in car racing or sim racing or whatever, consistency is the big factor here. It doesn't matter how fast you are. If you crash, you're not fast at all. So anything else? Thank you for the commentary. Thank you for everybody that's watching this stream. I hope enjoy it, and I hope we're gonna see as many people in these races as we can hold. Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you, Paul, for your time. and that leaves one guy left. And I'd certainly love to hear from Will McCone. He came second in the feature race, and I'd love to talk to him now. Will, would you like to say something about your race?
Good evening, Michael. How you doing? Good fun tonight. I think tonight I was the lesson in that don't forget to get your practice in. I think qualified 9th, couldn't get anywhere near a sort of a 2:09. I think I qualified with a 2:10.8 or something like that. And then throughout the race, find myself sort of being able to match the leader's race pace. So a bit more practice. Maybe would have had it in me to get Andy in the end, but looking at this from a team point of view for this little league. So yeah, great team result. Just a shame Seb had his DC. But yeah, no, good fun.
Do you reckon with one more lap you could have caught him?
Nah, I got close to him a couple of times, but then I'd get myself excited and I'd lock up in the couple of tenths that I'd caught him. I'd lost again. So yeah, a couple more laps and kept myself a bit calmer, and I might have been. But yeah, listen, I think as a couple of people mentioned, it was sort of just consistency and keeping it on the track. It done you a lot of favors tonight. Few spinners, few little incidents that I benefited from myself personally. So no, I think Andy deserved that win in the second. I was just surprised to find it was me that was chasing him down rather than any of the others.
Yeah, so certainly moral of the story here, get your practice in. Like these are very unique machines. Like they're not like any GT3 or a downforce. Like they're pretty unique and they take a bit of time to learn.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3 for the boys next week on my team, so a bit of practice and we'll be there.
All right, I'll hold you to that.
We'll see. Cheers, Michael.
All right, cheers, Will. All right, we have run out of drivers to interview, so it is now the patented ad-lib time. Well, the botched outro, where I give my account of what I think happened there, and like how was the race in my perspective. Well, I think it was really exciting. It was a very good sprint race with plenty of action up at the front. It has absolutely everything. Everyone going and trying everything they could to try advance their position, but unfortunately, like a lot of people spun out, and real people who reaped the real reward here tonight is definitely the people who kept it on the track and kept it consistent. And I think it might be a good model to go by for the next round, I believe. So, also, one more thing before I sign off. Samuel. I'd love to interview Samuel, but thing is, he's on deafen right now, so he can't actually hear me. So, I'm not sure how to actually reach him. But in any case, what I'd like to mention that yeah, there was a lot of moments in this race, a lot of very good sprint race action, and a lot of a thrilling conclusion to our little feature at the end of half an hour, which is something I can rarely say, you know, for the race win and for the podium in these features. But they definitely put on a very good show tonight, and you'd be crazy not to join us for next week on Monday. I'm not sure if I'll be here, because the only reason I'm here is because I have a bank holiday Monday for St. Patrick's Day. But like I might be there for second round to Portsmouth. You never know. So I'd love to see how the complexion of this championship continues to go on now that people start practicing and now that people start taking this seriously, you know. So in any case, this has been Michael Chute, and I'd like to wish you a very good evening. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next stream, and have a great evening.